Hello, and welcome to Virtual Birding. We're doing something a little bit different today, and we're gonna be going out to record bird songs. And for that we have two target birds. And our first one is wood thrush, which we actually have had before, but I'd like to see what their song looks like on a spectrogram. So that'll be our first one, but our primary target bird will be our second one. And this book that I'm looking at is the Peterson Field Guide to Bird Songs of Eastern North America by Nathan Pipelow. It's a pretty awesome book if you're looking for a good book to learn bird songs. You can really see the spectrograms, which is a visual representation of the song. And you can see that for this grasshopper sparrow here. So you can see that real plain sparrow, short tail, and you can see on the picture there what the song will look like when we see it in the spectrogram after we record it. So that'll be our second target bird and really our main one. So we've got our recording equipment here. Now this isn't a super professional setup. This is just one that I've kind of rigged together. So I got a Rode shotgun microphone and this little Camvate handle. And I kind of attach those two together and that makes a little shotgun mic for me. And then I actually do my recordings on a separate recorder, which would be this Zoom H1N recorder. And this thing actually can do recordings on its own, but it's not quite as nice for recording individual bird songs as having a shotgun mic, which is why I connect this little Rode microphone into it. So it's really good for like ambient bird songs in a morning chorus, something like that. So I didn't do a good job of getting this on camera, but right now I'm just hooking a sound cord in between the microphone and the recorder. And I have that clipped to a carabiner, which I attached to my belt. And that's my setup. It's not quite the big professional setups with the big bowl that you see a lot of people doing, but it works well enough. And today we're back at Manassas National Battlefield Park. We'll start out in the forest where we'll look for the wood thrush. And then we'll move out into the grasslands up on Matthews Hill to look for grasshopper sparrow. As you can tell, there's a lot of traffic that goes by this area, and so it's maybe not the best place to record bird songs, but it is the best place that I know of where I can find wood thrush and grasshopper sparrow. So here's our first bird, and it looks like a male northern cardinal and a female northern cardinal on the ground. So we'll keep making our way along, but I think I see a little moth down here on the ground, so we'll take a look at that quick. And here we have a delicate cycnia moth, or at least that's how I think it's said. Really pretty white moth with a little bit of orange on the front of it. Some little dots on the abdomen. Definitely a pretty little moth. A little ruby-throated hummingbird just flew over there. It's weird to count that one as a herd only, but pretty easy song to get and pretty hard to see. There's a nice red-eyed vireo singing here, so we'll take our first recording. And as you can see right here at the top, we have the spectrogram where you can see a visual representation of the songs. And I've highlighted the different parts where you can hear individual birds. There's also that kind of thick line through about the middle, and that's just insects. Some sort of katydid, I think, but I don't really know my insect calls. And so you can hear that as well and see that as a visualization within the song. A lot of the other songs we'll do, I'll just be quiet and let us listen, but for that one I thought I would explain it, so that way you know what's coming. So we'll keep making our way up here to the spot that I go in the woods that I've had wood thrush in the past, but there's a really nice indigo bunting singing here, so might as well break out a recording, and after we take a recording we'll try to get a look at it if we can. So I'll be quiet and let you listen in. Yeah, very cool. You can really see that representation of that indigo bunting song, especially when it's loud. You can really see it well in the notes where it goes up and down in frequency. But let's try to get a look at it. And there it went, and it flew pretty far, probably out to those pine trees that are out there. So we'll make our way that direction. If it's still there, we'll take a look. And if not, then we'll just keep moving. Right about there is where we'll go into the woods as well. So I think I can see it sitting up there. And yeah, sure enough, in this light, it looks pretty dark, but definitely an indigo bunting. You can hear it singing. There's also something else sitting there on that hill right at the edge of the light. And there's a white-tailed deer munching there. But yeah, with that indigo bunting, blue is a color in bird feathers that there's no pigment for. It's all based on structure and how the light hits it. And so when you don't get really good light on a bird that's blue, they really look black, like that bird looked. Alright, we'll head into the woods, and there's another mammal here right away. Nice little eastern cottontail sitting right along the trail. But right back in here is where I've had wood thrush earlier this summer, so we're here real early in the morning, so hopefully it'll be singing. And sure enough, there it is. So it looks like we're in luck. We'll get out here and take a recording. I actually have yet to see this bird. It's really dense in there, but we'll take a listen. Yeah, pretty cool. That bird, you can really hear the different notes all being sung at the same time, and then when you see that spectrogram and look at it, you can actually see sort of those lines of each of those notes all at different frequencies, all being sung at the same time, which is pretty neat. I think looking at bird songs is probably just as fun as hearing it, which is part of the reason I sort of got into recording in the first place. Those professional setups I would love to have, but they're pretty bulky to carry around, and they're very, very expensive. This little setup that I have, while not crazy cheap, is definitely a lot cheaper, especially since I sort of bought it all while they were on sale, which helps quite a bit. It works pretty well, as you can hear, and yeah, if it's real windy, I have a problem, but if not, then we're good. Got a bird up here on the path, a nice brown thrasher. A bird that we were surprised with last time we were here, but this time of year is when they should be here. There's definitely a few birds singing in here, and actually there was a grasshopper sparrow, so let's get out our recorder and take a listen. Pretty cool. You can see that grasshopper sparrow just like it looked like in the book this morning. Pretty neat. Hopefully we'll get a little closer and get a look at it. That can be a pretty hard bird to see, as they oftentimes spend a lot of time deep down in the grass, but we'll hope to get lucky. Ooh, there goes a bird. Looked like a meadowlark. And there it landed, right on a fence post. Nice eastern meadowlark. That's kind of a nice one to get. Last time we were at Manassas Battlefield, that was our target bird, and we missed it. So nice to get it now. It's definitely a lot easier here in the spring and early summer, but they're definitely around in the winter. So I'm not sure why we missed it last time, but it's good to get it now. It's kind of vindicating. And actually a bird just landed on the cannon that sort of looked like a grasshopper sparrow. It's hard to believe they'd be there, but sure enough, yeah, it looks like it's perching up on the cannon. So that's pretty funny, pretty cool. So there's our target bird. It does look like there's a lot of poop there on that cannon, and so I suspect maybe that is a spot that it sits pretty often, so hopefully when we get closer we'll get a little bit better look. But let's go ahead and take another recording. With it a little louder there, you can actually see those little notes before that buzzy sound, which is pretty neat. It's not really something I even noticed with the song before I saw it. So that is pretty cool. And actually kind of seeing those cricket notes is pretty cool too. Looks like that sparrow's still sitting there, so we'll take another look. Prairie warbler singing as well. Sounds very far away. Grasshopper sparrow is pretty funny how he sort of flicks his wings as he's singing. Pretty neat. Looks like another bird here on this cannon. So we'll get around here and take a look now that it's not in the sun. There we have a really pretty tree swallow. Really nice and blue. The angle on that's still a little weird, and I'd like to go down this line of cannons to try to get a better look at the eastern meadowlarks anyways, so since it's going to stay there, we'll take another look in a little bit better light. Definitely very pretty birds, tree swallows. Alright, sounds like that eastern meadowlark's still down there, along with the common yellowthroat, the way it sounds. So we'll get down, try to take a look, and maybe even take a recording. I don't think I've ever recorded a eastern meadowlark very well, so if we can get a little bit better than our first recording, that'd be awesome. Very, very cool. Neat to see that common yellowthroat call as well. You can see it sort of going up and down with that witchety witchety. And there's our meadowlark, still pretty far, but definitely a lot better look. You can really see that yellow and that black V on the neck. Definitely a pretty awesome bird. Good to get it in the place that we missed it last time. And that yellowthroat doesn't seem too far away, so we'll take a look for that. And there it is, sitting on the fence line as well. And there it drops down. Alright, well that is really all we were looking for, so we'll start making our way back to the parking lot. See if this grasshopper sparrow is still up here, we might take a look, but there's something on the wire out there. Pretty distant, and again looking pretty dark, but that's an eastern bluebird. You can catch a little bit of that rusty red on the chest, and but otherwise, yeah, it looked pretty dark. Let's see if we can't get this prairie warbler a recording. That thing's pretty far, so I don't know that we'll really get it, but it'll be worth a try. Not quite as nice as some of our other recordings, but it was able to get it. And you could definitely see that sort of upward buzzing of that bird. Looks like our bluebird is up there on that transformer. And there's our grasshopper sparrow. I actually don't know that I've ever seen this bird quite that well. It's usually not so cooperative. Usually it's deep down in the grass. And to see one so close and so exposed is really special. A couple more birds on the wire. This time it looks like a couple of mourning doves. And it looks like a tree swallow is taking roost inside the cannon. Tree swallows do nest in cavities, so I don't know if this one's just sitting in there, or if it actually would nest inside the cannon. Not really sure, but pretty funny. Can hear that indigo bunting on the tree line over there, and this one with the angle catching the light definitely looks a little bit more blue than the one that we saw earlier. Looks like our grasshopper sparrow's back, so we'll take one more look before we head out. Got that tree swallow in the foreground as well. Definitely two birds that I wouldn't expect to see together in the same view, but pretty cool. Yeah, I'd say this is definitely that grasshopper sparrow's spot, but very, very cool. I'm glad that he's been using it. Actually, now that he went out in the grass, let's see if we can't get a more typical grasshopper sparrow experience and see him out in there. Don't see him right now, but if I keep my eyes open, I can oftentimes spot him, especially if he starts to sing again. But actually, I do think I see him there. And yeah, you can see just a little bit of fluttering in there. And there he pops out a little bit. But yeah, that is more of what I expected to see. So these really, really close views have been really, really awesome and really, really special. Oh, there he flies back. Let's take one more recording just for fun. Oh, and there he goes, so I guess that's what we're gonna get. Yeah, you can really, really see that that call well in that spectrogram, which is pretty neat. All those little notes right before the big sort of more buzzy buzz that kind of takes up a lot of the spectrogram, a lot of different frequencies. So pretty fun. If it's something you're into, if you really like bird songs, it's definitely a very cool thing to come out and do. It also, if you're trying to learn bird songs, I really would recommend that field guide to the bird sounds of Eastern North America. It is a great way to sort of compare what different bird songs look like visually, and then especially pretty similar bird songs. You can really get a sense of how they're different in a way that it's hard to get when you're just listening. But we're back to the parking lot, so I guess that is where we'll wrap up this walk. Now our walk summary, we had 21 species of birds, 2 species of mammals, and 1 invertebrate in about 0.6 miles walked in an hour, and we saw our target bird and heard the wood thrush. For our species list, we have anything that we only heard, which there were quite a few, were HO. Anything that's new has an N, and at this point I like to pick a bird of the day. It is hard to know what to go with for sure. In some ways I want to say meadowlark, but I think I'd probably have to go with our target bird, the grasshopper sparrow. I don't really know if I've ever seen him quite as well as I saw him today, so hard not to pick that one. For our virtual birding life list, we have 179 species of birds with 3 new today, 10 species of mammals, 3 species of amphibians, 2 species of reptiles, and 8 invertebrates with 1 new today. Thanks for joining me on this birdwalk at Manassas National Battlefield recording bird songs. I hope you enjoyed doing something a little bit different now that the summer is quite hot. I hope to see you next time, and happy birding!